preparing to live stream.
So we are live now.
Are we?
I'm asking you.
Just in 2 minutes.
It's showing
Not even 2 minutes.
live.
Hello, everyone. We are live now. I'm just sharing the link with the participants. I shared the link with the participants in the WhatsApp group. As soon as people will join the webinar, we will start formally with our today's trainer. We apologize for the delay due to some technical reasons. Hello, Mr. Atif. Hope you are doing great. We will just start formally in within 5 minutes because we are already late due to some technical reasons. People are joining. Okay, I believe we should start from the introduction and let the people join one by one. Our today's topic is mind restructuring to achieve goals. As we already mentioned in our advertisement, this Ms. Tahira Rubab will be the trainer for our today's presentation, and she has a vast experience in training and management consultancy. Definitely, she will add value in your skills through today's training. She will give her brief introduction herself just after me. A little about the company. As you might already know, CIC, which is a Crasita International Consultants, is one of the uh, you know uh, leading consultancy and training firm. It's a one-window solution for all your training, consultancy, ISO audit certification needs. We are existing in three countries: USA, United Arab Emirates, and Pakistan. Now moving on to our today's trainer, we are handing over to Ms. Tyra Rubab and she will continue from here. Please, Ms. Tyra.
Thank you so much, Amar. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good day, because I know people across the globe are joining us with this. So, this is Tahira Rubab. By profession, I am a clinical psychologist, and by option, by choice, I am a trainer. And it's been like more than 12 years. I had been training people how they can achieve their goals, and I had been training people to build their capacities, and I have worked nationally, internationally, across Pakistan as well, and I'm practicing clinician as well. So today, what we are just going to discuss, it's like how we can restructure the mind to achieve our goals. Basically, in this training, we would try that that we at least we learn how our mind is just going to, and our mind is just interrupting with our goals, with our success, and how it is just inducing the fear into us of failure. I would try that I should elaborate on the following points: that what is the mind structuring actually, basically, and why we need to restructure actually, how thoughts are developed, roles of thoughts, our life is exactly, and you would be amazed to know that there are many things in this training that might be you have heard before this, but um, in this training you would be having another perspective of how these things are just working with us through our mind. So the next thing is that everything is happening twice in the world. We'll be discussing this in the detail. Our brain is our slave. This must be something new for you guys. Self-talk, we all do this, but how it is affecting our life, we'll be learning this today. And dreams with open eyes come true. We might have heard it so many times, but how it works, we'll learn this today. And finally, we would be concluding the session with the key techniques how we can restructure our mind. So let's begin with this. What is actually mind restructuring? Basically, mind restructuring is not something which is new. It's since ever since, I must say, when with the existence of human beings, it is there. We all restructure our mind with time, with new goals. We just try to adjust our mind, we try to adapt the changes, and in all these ways, in all these ups and downs, in all these changings, we try to sorry, we try to restructure our mind. So restructuring of mind is a technique of many therapeutic interventions like CBT, which we know as cognitive behavior therapy, and neurolinguistic programming. It helps individuals to identify areas that cause negative thoughts, then penetrate into their minds. So, mind restructuring is all about how we can restructure our mind and how we can change our negative thoughts into positive ones to achieve our goals. Can you move to the next slide, please? Amber, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Why we need to restructure? Basically, we should know about this, that many a times we just listen from trainers, from people who guide us, from the counselors, that we need to restructure our mind, we need to restructure our thoughts. But we first need to understand that why we need to restructure ourselves and why we need to restructure even our brain and mind. To restructure our mind time to time helps us to take the charge of our lives. It helps us to achieve the goals, regularize and channelize our emotions. Moreover, it also helps us to change our beliefs and thoughts. So these are the basic things for what we need to actually restructure our mind. How our thoughts are just being developed, we need, let's have a look on this. Basically, we all think of that, whatever we are doing, whatever we are believing, it may be just automatic, and it's just there. But the fact is this, that our thoughts are being developed by the environment we are living in, the experiences we have over the years since our childhood even, and the learning we have actually from our surroundings, from our parents, from our school, and even from our friends. What we are learning from the surroundings and environment, and particularly the vicarious learning. The vicarious learning is when we just hear things from others. We learn from others, from their stories, from the things which we have never encountered ourselves, but we believe on them as if they are existing. Like we can say the ghost ones, we can say the vampires ones, because we have not seen them, but we do believe to a certain extent that they exist. So vicarious learning is the things we don't experience ourselves, but we learn it from the others' stories and we believe it. Next slide, please. Here is something very interesting. We all think that our, or maybe I should ask you guys that how it is like, do we feel first or we think first? What comes first? I think so you should think of it, and you should give me answers in the comment that either we think first or we feel first. Here comes the role of thoughts actually. We feel that we think. So if we are thinking negative, we would feel negative. So to feel happy, to feel good, to feel positive, we need to feed ourselves with positive thoughts, because our thoughts are there to control, to regulate, to make us feel good or bad, happy or sad, whatever we are just feeling, whatever we are just going through, whatever the perceptions we are just creating around us, whatever we are perceiving from the failures, it is actually the thoughts which are making this thing that way. So if we are thinking negative, if we are thinking pessimistic, if we are thinking about the failures most of the time, that means our thoughts are negative, our thoughts are more pessimistic. So we think feel your thoughts first, and your feelings would be automatically changed, because that's how Your thoughts affect you. That's all your thoughts work with human beings. Here is an other interesting thing actually to know and to learn. I believe and I have seen that, and I have read this, and there are so many stories of successful people who would be counting on, who would be articulating this, and who would be maybe second this thing, that our life is exactly the way we think. As I have just shared a minute before, that we feel the way we think. So most of the time, what we are today is the fate or destiny. Whereas what we are today was a thought of yesterday. Our thoughts, their intensity, their frequency, create or develops, actually maps in our mind, and then automatically we follow it. Even our fears, success, and failure also follow the same procedure. How much we just how much we are just repeating the thoughts of anything, how much we are just thinking about anything, uh, it develops certain kind of maps in our mind, and that maps actually takes us towards what we are thinking. So whatever we are having today, how we are today, whatever the status we are enjoying at the moment, whatever the success we are having at the moment, whatever the stage of life we are having, what kind of people are around us, it is actually what we have thought yesterday. So our life is exactly the way we think. If we think it something very successful, if we really want to be successful, if we really want to be happy, so we actually need on our thoughts. Next slide. This is another thing which we need to actually understand, basically, because we are just focusing on how we can restructure the mind, and that's why I'm just focusing more on what actually caused the problem in our mind, and that's what our thoughts are, and we are focusing more on the thoughts. So everything happens twice in the world. You might have heard about this before many a times, but here let's have another perspective. Just imagine for a while all the inventions in the world, how they have come into being. Is it like they just appear or they just happen out of nowhere? If we just think of it, we would be knowing this fact that no, they have not been just appeared. They have not just been happened actually. First, they must have had happen into somebody's mind, and then we can see them in an actual as a reality. You will come to know that everything we are enjoying today, it was an imagination of the past actually. It was created in the mind first. Let's think of a car, and the models and even the fastest cars, they were not there at first, but it was just a thought of anybody's mind, which actually got the reality after maybe some years or after maybe decades, but it was just a thought first. So everything what we are enjoying today, it was the thought first. So whatever we are just going to have in our life, that would be a thought first, and then we can have it in an actual actually. So we need to just think of it, that we would have a thought what we just want to achieve. We just need to think where we want to go, what we want to have in our life. We just need to think of it, and definitely after some time, after few years, after maybe few months, that thing, that goal would be achieved and that thing would be with you. So we really need to make the very clear thoughts about that thing. Next slide, please. Next slide. Our brain is our slave. This might be something new for you who are listening over there. Most of us think that our brain controls us, whereas the fact is contrary to it, because our mind only process the function, and it follows whatever the commands are being given to it. And these commands are actually our thoughts. Our brain works exactly the way PC works. What inputs are given, outputs are accordingly. So whatever we say, positive, negative, irrational, stupid, fearful, our brain gives outputs as the inputs are. If just think for a while, if we are just giving any wrong command to our PC, how it can respond us in an accurate way, how it can give us the accurate output actually. So our brain is also exactly like that. If we are giving some negative thoughts to our brain, the outputs would be negative. If we are just thinking about the failure most of the time, the output would be a failure. Because and when we are just talking about, when we are just thinking negative, when we are just thinking about the failure, when we are just thinking of being humiliated in front of people, when we are just speaking, when we are just presenting ourselves, we cannot make it possible that the reality would be opposite to that. Negative thinking would cause negative consequences. Thinking about the failure most of the time will bring failure to you. So if we really want to be successful, just change the thoughts. Just change the thoughts and repeat them as much as you can. Self-talk. Self Self-talk, the culprit and the key to success. Almost we all do self-talk, or we might not be aware of it, because some people know that yes, they do self-talk, and some people think no, they don't self-talk. So we might not be aware, but we all do self-talk. This self-talk actually are the words we are giving to our thoughts. Just think for a while, even um, are you doing self-talk or not? You just need to think of it. Self-talk is the input to the brain.